Hello. So today I want to speak about emotional responsibility. What does that mean? So, as humans in this 3D world, we are all very good at, or we kind of like appraise ourselves for being good at our physical responsibilities. So, what I mean by that is keeping a job, um, maybe, working hard to buy yourself a house or a car or to just keep a roof over your head, to feed yourself, your responsibilities as a human to take care of yourself. Um, as well as things like maybe you have a pet and you're responsible for that pet, and that is your duty to walk that dog 3 times a day, or maybe you have a child and that is your full responsibility. So the thing is, we know when we're not being fully responsible. And this is because we also have an emotional responsibility. And we're not taught this. And this is, I believe, why there is also so much sickness and illness in the world. We are not taught how to look after our emotions or how to be emotionally responsible for ourselves. Because when we're not emotionally responsible for ourselves, we project our emotions on other people, we blame other people, we will always deflect the situation to say, I'm not responsible because I've done XYZ. Oh my God, give me a break. That energy. And essentially, what happens when we're in this is we're not taking accountability for ourselves, for our actions, for our behaviors, for the things that literally rule us. And if we're not doing that, then we're causing a lot of chaos in our lives, whether it's internally or externally or both. And so, how does one become emotionally responsible? So, it requires getting honest with yourself first and foremost. It requires taking down the walls that you've built up to feel safe or to feel strong or to not let anyone kind of like take you down. We can build very, very strong defense systems around ourselves when we don't want to uh, be made out to be the bad guy, essentially, right? But the truth is, we're all bad guys and we're all good guys in our own ways. And it's just about learning how to be honest with yourself first and foremost, and then how to be honest with other people. And emotional responsibility is also looking at the areas in which maybe something has happened to you, and it might have been something really traumatic. It might have been something that you absolutely, you know, no one ever deserves to have these bad things happen in terms of trauma and stuff like this, or abuse or whatever. But it's looking at the ways in which you perpetuate your own suffering because of that thing that happened to you, that you then created an identity out of and a story out of. So becoming emotionally responsible is about saying, I don't want to live out that story for the rest of my life. I don't want to identify with that one identity for the rest of my life. I want to take emotional responsibility and learn how to sit with the feelings that are difficult to sit with. And in this world, there is a lot of emotions that get suppressed. And when an emotion gets suppressed, essentially what happens is it gets pushed down into our physical body. And the body will hold on to that emotion for as long as you choose not to feel it. So this is why then these emotions can manifest as illness, as sickness, in so many different ways. It can be little. Maybe you get the cold because you have been pushing yourself and pushing yourself and pushing yourself, but you're actually really exhausted and you've just been through a breakup and you need to feel the sadness, but you don't have time to feel the sadness. So you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and then boom, you get the cold, you're in bed for a week, or you get the flu, you're in bed for a week. Okay, that's like a small example. And whilst you're in that period of being forced into rest, you start to feel all of the emotions that you didn't have the time or didn't allow yourself to feel because there's always something else to do. Bigger examples, maybe it's your skin, maybe you suffer from eczema and you realize that when you're angry, that is when you start to scratch your hands or start to scratch your skin wherever it's itchy. And when you don't express that anger, you do it even more. And you might say, well, how do I express anger? Anger is not a healthy emotion to express. Anger is healthy. It's just about learning how to express it healthily. No emotion is unhealthy. They are not you, you're not your emotions. They are energy in motion that moves through us. And the most important thing we can do in our lives and for ourselves and for the people we love is learn how to feel these emotions and to let them move through us, to let go of them. So if you're feeling angry, instead of giving someone the silent treatment or giving everyone the silent treatment and then having them walk on eggshells in your house and being really passive aggressive, learn how to channel that anger. Maybe you go to a kickboxing class, maybe you dance, maybe you sing, maybe you scream. You move your body in some way, you work out, or you express it, but you express it in an authentic way of saying, I am angry because, instead of saying, I'm angry, and it gets thrown onto the other person as if it's their responsibility. That's never going to solve anything. There's so many emotions, that we choose not to feel because it's too painful. But the thing is, you do feel it. And even if you're not feeling it here or even up here, can't really feel anything up here. This is more for thinking. But then it could manifest as migraines and stuff like this. Your body will feel it and your body will carry it and your nervous system will feel it and your nervous system will carry it. And that's a lot of weight to be carrying around. So honestly, if everyone learned to, first of all, it takes a lot of compassion, right? Because when you start to do this kind of work, taking responsibility for your emotions, it'll feel like there's just a whole massive rucksack full of shit that you've not dealt with, because there is. And it requires you to be slow and steady with yourself and to always have compassion for yourself. These things take time to cultivate, but it is possible. And, slowly and surely it will get easier as the journey goes along. Allowing yourself to feel what you feel is so powerful in so many ways, not just for your health and your well-being and the health and well-being of the people you love and the people that are in your life, but it ripples out into other people, into communities, into spaces that you enter. Your energy is felt by other people, and that will either inspire people or trigger them. But even if they're getting triggered, there's a part of them that is realizing that whatever you're doing is working, and the reason they're triggered is because they're not in that energy. So they're actually inspired in a way. They're just not quite sure yet how to take action on that. So yes, emotional responsibility, super, super important. And, especially like for me on my own personal journey, the reason I have been able to learn all of this um, is because of my own health stuff that I have had to deal with. And I know that if I don't allow myself to feel my emotions, to express them, to let them move through me in some way, my pain will get worse, my fatigue will get worse, symptoms will flare up. So I'm constantly being reminded through my body how to express, how to release, how to let go. And that is a gift. It is a gift. It's a gift when you learn how to work with the energy instead of making yourself the victim. And trust me, I made myself the victim for a long, long time. It didn't serve me. But now it served me because I can learn from it and say, fuck, I'm not doing that again. That didn't work. And, also the most kind of powerful, liberating thing you can realize is no one's going to save you. No one's going to save you. People might try, but they're only doing that from their own unhealed wounds and stuff that they've not looked at in their own selves. Yeah. So when you realize that you are the only person that has the power, the sovereignty to heal yourself, then you'll stop relying on other people. You'll stop always looking for that next thing or that next course or whatever it is that you're frantically searching towards to fill these holes within yourself, to heal yourself, to fix yourself. It's realizing that there's none wrong with you. Accept yourself as you are, love yourself as you are. And yeah, you are your own healer. Pardon me. So just something I felt called to speak about because, especially right now, and it's just going to get more and more intense in the world, we need to learn this. Above all, we need to learn this. If you want to be a good daughter, a good mother, a good friend, a good sister, a good teacher, you need to learn to take responsibility for your own emotions. And like I say, it's a journey. There's going to be times it'll be difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but it makes your life a whole lot easier in the long run. You will have way more deeper connections, not just with yourself, but with other people. And yeah, your life will ultimately change for the better. So that is my message today.